You're listening to Project Corona.
All right, welcome to Project Dark Corona.
Ooh, welcome to the show, everybody. How you doing, Jason?
Oh, I'm doing good. How you?
I'm good. Staying busy.
Staying busy.
Yeah, just got home today. Truck broke down on the way home.
All right. That's sounds good, right?
Yeah, not always, but hey, we deal with it, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't. You do.
Yeah, I deal with it. So, hey, everybody.
Everybody in the chat
Everybody
room.
in the chat rooms. So, got a good guest tonight.
We do.
Ooh, yeah.
Psychic Paranormal Investigator.
Oh, this is going to be awesome. So, remember, we are live on Spreaker and on Podbean. So, check us out. Also, we're live on our website, projectdarkcorona.org. So, find a place and park it and listen.
Oh, yeah.
You can check us out on Facebook. It's Everything Paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, Aliens, and Ghosts. We're also on Twitter at Project Dark Coro. That's C-O-R-O, Project Dark Coro. And we want to thank paranormalityradio.com.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. So we were nominated for 2 awards. Right, Jason?
Yes.
First award was Best New Podcast. Second award was what?
Best Interview Podcast.
Oh, man. It's Best Interview Podcast. Now, on the 17th of October at 9 p.m., live on YouTube, Paranormality Radio is going to have their countdown, I guess. They're going to tell everybody who won in each and every category. And, we hope everybody's going to watch. And we want to thank everybody that voted for us, that got us the nomination and to this point. So we want to thank you for sure.
Yes. Thank all of our premium members.
Yes. Thank you, premium members, too.
And thank you, people that voted.
Oh, everyone that voted, because there's a ton of people that voted. There had to be.
Yeah.
But we thank everybody for doing that, and hope everybody could watch and see. Cross our fingers that maybe we win one or both of the categories. That'd be pretty cool. But nomination alone is awesome. I mean, just out of thousands and thousands of podcasts that we were nominated for those two categories was phenomenal. So, but we also want to ask everybody to come visit us at projectdarkcorona.org. You can sign up, become a member. It's free. Doesn't cost nothing. Right, Jason?
Yep.
Free's good.
Free.
We love free. And while you're on there, you could come and talk to us in the chat room. Someone's on the chat room right now, but they got their name in purple. I can't read it. Can you? Let's see. What does it say? Oh, it's Miss Bird Dog. Hey, Miss Bird Dog. How you doing? So come into the live chat room there. Chat with us while we're doing our live shows every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Come and join us.
Yeah, that's a good way to, interact with us is in the website chat room that David was talking about. Also, while you're on that website, projectdarkcorona.org, if you like the show and want to support it, you can do that by becoming a premium member. Only for $2 a month. $2, David.
You know what? I have coffee that costs more than that.
I don't drink coffee. But $2, you could become a premium member and get some premium content. But let's see, before we go to break, you know what we got to do, right?
Oh.
A little weird news with David Reagan.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. So tonight I found something that's kind of fun. We're going to do the origins of some spooky things. Yeah. For everybody that's new in our chat room, you can also go to the customize at the very bottom of the chat room there, and it'll allow you to customize your name instead of it being anonymous. Hello, Anonymous 565 and 566. But you can go to where it says customize at the bottom left-hand corner and customize your name. And then after the show, so you don't miss nothing, you could sign up and become a member. It's free. And then every time you log in, it's going to show your name.
We got Ruth Meister over here in the Podbean chat room.
Ooh, hello, Ruth. How you doing? So, again, we're doing some origins of spooky things. So, we did a show on this one not too long ago on jack-o'-lanterns.
Ooh.
So the name Jack-o'-lantern comes from an Irish myth in which a man called Stingy Jack tricks the devil and ends up condemned to walk the earth, unable to get into heaven or hell. According to the tale, the original lantern was carved out of a turnip. Jack used it to light his way as he wandered into the dark. When Irish immigrants brought this story to America, they discovered that pumpkins, native to their new home, made an even spookier candle holder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh.
So, that's number one. Here's one. Crystal balls.
I always wanted a crystal ball.
So a fortune teller's staple, a crystal ball, may have been described by Pliny the Elder in the 1st century. In one chapter of his Natural History, he discusses magic performed with water, balls, and all sorts of other tools. Some scholars have associated these practices with the Druids, which Pliny also discusses. It is said that Druids would imply a procedure known as scrying, in which they stared into the reflective surfaces of mirrors, water, and yes, crystals to gain sight and insight. That's pretty neat, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's find us another one. Another good one. So we'll go to the Headless Horseman. So again, an Irish legend.
A lot of things happen over in Ireland, don't they?
Yeah, they're very superstitious people. The wee little people.
The little leprechauns.
Oh, don't get my gold. An Irish legend, the Dullum, is a frightening being indeed. Setting upon a horse, the man rides with his head held high in his hand, so that he may scan the surroundings. If that wasn't creepy enough, don't worry. The Dolan also carries a whip made out of human spines. Be careful if he stops and says your name. You will die instantly. That's a little bit different than the legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, I thought that was like the same thing.
Yeah.
The Headless Horseman.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I want to whop you with some human spines. All right. That's our weird news.
So we got to take a quick break.
We will. I just, I've got to set it up real quick because I haven't done it yet. Oops. Again, remember it is October 17th. It's on a Sunday. It's next Sunday. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. 9 p.m. live on YouTube. And that is on paranormalityradio.com's YouTube channel. And they will be live. And, you know, hopefully we will win. We will win.
Yeah. You know, Bird Dog up here in the chat room's got a point, David.
Yes.
How did he talk? How did he say your name if he didn't have a head?
He had his head in his hand.
Oh.
He held his head up high so he could scan the surroundings.
So, okay, that's your answer, Bird Dog.
Yep. He had Bluetooth from his neck to his head. His Bluetooth. It was before Bluetooth was discovered. He already knew it. He had the art of Bluetooth. So, oh, I see Jen is also in the chat room over here too.
All right.
Hey, Jen. So, all right, Mr. Dan Pickens. This is awesome. Okay, we're going to go take us a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to Jen Jons. We're going to be talking to her about some of her experiences and some of the spooky things that she's probably seen and heard. And
her book.
Her book. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we will be back right after these messages.
You're listening to Project Dark Corona.
Hey everybody, this is Matt Sieber. I'm stuck in a bunker with David and Jason on Project Dark Corona.
Do you like the paranormal, cryptids, and folklore? Then join us at Project Dark Corona on Spreaker. We have a live show on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. We interview the best in all subjects of paranormal and strange. Also, join us on ProjectDarkCorona.org. When you sign up, become a member, you'll get to hear the latest blogs and episodes. Thanks, and remember, Project Dark Corona Podcasts.
Hey, this is Jeff Reagan with the band Catalyst. You're listening to Project Dark Corona with David Reagan and Jason Scott.
All right, welcome back to Project Dark Corona podcast.
Welcome to the show. Back to the show, everybody.
Yeah.
We also want to thank Catalyst East Tennessee. You could always go to Bandcamp and check them out. What's cool about Bandcamps is that you could sit there and listen to each song individually, one at a time, play it over and over and over again. And you could even purchase one song at a time, or you could purchase a whole album. So, definitely go check them out because those guys deserve it. So we're gonna bring Jen on. You gonna?
Yeah, we're going to be talking with Jen Jons. She's the author of Dark Night Haunting, Life of a Paranormal Investigator. She got married last August, and her name then changed to Jons, but I guess it was Jen Devillier. She's done podcasts, lectures, and events. She's a psychic paranormal investigator. She also does astrology, tarot, numerology, oracle, angel, and fairy readings. And if you want to go on the Facebook or our website, you can find the links to her. And we'll go ahead and bring her on.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, guys.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
So, I guess, one of the first things that we could ask is, what kind of got you into doing all this stuff? Uh-oh. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
So what got you into, as far as like, we'll start with just the looking for ghosts and doing all that fun stuff. What got you into all that?
Oh, you guys are fading in and out on me. Okay, so you asked about where I started with it?
Yes, with the as far as doing stuff like, going and hunting ghosts and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, my paranormal life started at a very early age, around 8, and I saw my first shadow figure in the hallway. And it's kind of been like, ever since then, it just, activity increased over time. And it wasn't until, I would say about 2005, 2006, that I started actually doing ghost hunting. So, but it's something that's always been on my mind. Typically, it's real easy for me to communicate anyway, because even before I started doing that, I lived in a series of places. It seemed like everywhere I lived, there was at least one ghost, if not more. So I've always been in communication in the paranormal, I guess.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, when did you really kind of first realize that you thought maybe that you're psychic and could, communicate and see these things, and unlike most normal people can't?
Well, I thought it was kind of odd personally when I saw the shadow figure, and I wasn't actually afraid of it. I was afraid of the fact that there was a stranger in the apartment. Because I was home alone.
All right.
And I was just more like, how the heck did somebody get in here? I was more disturbed about that. That scared me, but the actual shadow figure itself didn't scare me, like its origin or anything like that. And it was kind of, I started to realize that I was kind of different than other people if I'm seeing this sort of stuff.
Right.
I've always had a huge draw to Ouija boards since that age as well, which is really weird because most kids that age are not thinking about that sort of stuff.
I know.
And I was making them with manila folders and paper, whatever materials I had on hand. So I've always kind of known that I was different, and I would say that as far as like with the ghosts, it hit me more in my teenage years, and I started to realize, okay, well, if I can actually sense them and know where they are in a room, or be able to drive past the house or walk past the house and say, yeah, there's something in there, then obviously I must have some sort of a gift, because most people don't just pick up on that.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Before the show, I kind of told you about, what happened to me as a kid, as far as being able to see them starting at the age of 3, and I still see them occasionally. It's not as much as it was when I was 3. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I wanted it to all go away, because it scared the what out of me, these things waking me up and chasing, at least I thought they were chasing me around the house. So, my son actually asked me a question about that not too long ago. He was like, do you think maybe they wanted something and they was trying to get, your attention? I was like, I was 3. I was 3. I wasn't worried about that. There was strange people, and that's all I really realized, is that there was strange people in my bedroom waking me up, and that's what scared me.
See, and that's the same thing, right? Yeah. Like what I said about the shadow figure. I was more nervous about how the heck did that thing get in here more than what in the heck is that?
Yeah, and that's what got me was that. I've seen, last house I lived in, there's a little girl that was there. Jason and I actually caught a pretty good EVP of her, but I've got a really good photo of her too. And I actually saw her, just like I'm sitting here looking at Jason, she was just as real could be. And so I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I actually jumped up and ran down the hallway of the house to get a second look, but she was gone. So
yeah, it's cool when they're solid like that, but it's not very often.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely.
I think it takes them a lot of energy to get to that point to be able to do that.
Right. So I know you've gone to quite a few places and done a lot of, paranormal investigations and stuff like that. What is one that stands out to you the most, like a location and stuff like that you really like, that you've been to?
So far in all the places that I've been to, my favorite has been Eastern State Penitentiary.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that in New York?
No, it's in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really neat experience, and I went 2 nights. The first night was with a massive group, and there's probably just too many people, but I still had experience, even so with so many people there. But then the next night I went again, and we had a much smaller group, and that was pretty interesting. My face got touched.
Oh.
Yeah, it felt like spider web going across my face. And I was with Jeff Belanger, who went first down that corridor, down that cell block. And because we were trying to walk through, kind of give each other space to space it out, walking down that way. Yeah. So he was first, and I asked him once I got towards the end, and I said, did you feel anything touching your face, like a spider web or anything? He said, no, So then I waited for the girl that was behind me to catch up and come out there, and I asked her the same thing. Do you feel any spider webs or anything? She said, no, nothing at all. And so after everybody came through, then we went back in there and we're using the flashlight to look up. And, I don't even know where a spider would have been if there would have been one, because those cell blocks are pretty tall, Like, But we couldn't find anything that would have explained that. But that's what it felt like, was a spider web. But it was going like across my face from left to right instead of down.
Oh.
Right. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I guess one of the prisoners decided to, touch me.
I've
But
always heard that women inside those places, get a lot of activity because,
sure.
Men's prison and stuff, they haven't seen a woman in a while. And so
absolutely.
Yeah. Have you
and it works the same way with the women's prisons though, too.
Okay.
If the guys go in there to investigate like the women's ward, or even in like asylums or anything like that, where there would have been, where they kept the men and women separated.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw a man in there, the women do the same thing.
Okay.
So it kind of goes both ways.
Have you ever had anything weird happen to you? Besides like you feel in that spider web, like where something has scratched you or pushed you or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've had my bra snapped in the back.
Oh.
Yeah. And one of my girlfriends was with me, but she was to my side and a little bit further up to my side. And, just snapped. And I looked at her, I said, "What the hell?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Somebody just snapped my bra." And she's like, "What?" And she got kind of freaked out. And that was just walking down a street in Jefferson, Texas.
Wow.
So, yeah, that whole town is so thick with ghosts. So it wasn't really that surprising that it was kind of like, okay, then. I've had my bottom groped.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that was with my son and my ex. I went into the closet to get something, and it's kind of a narrow space, but I know what's in there. And I was not walking where anything would have, gotten me there. Mm-hmm. And I even turned around and flipped the light on and all that. And I'm like, there is absolutely nothing that could have got me like that. And then so because we were staying with his grandmother, I told her about it, and she said, "Oh yeah, that sounds just like my husband." Because he did pass away there. So,
oh man,
yeah. And my son would be in the back in his crib, and he would just wake up at weird hours and just start babbling, like he thought, like somebody's talking to him or something, or playing with him.
That's awesome.
So that was,
it is.
Yeah, that was different. He didn't appear to be afraid or anything, so I guess he must have known that was his great grandpa. But I've had zip ties thrown at me. I've had rubber bands thrown at me.
Wow.
Never to hurt me or anything, just to get my attention. And I'm always like, okay, well, yeah, you got my attention. Now what do you want?
Hey, over here.
Right. I've had hot breath on the back of my neck, which actually happened at Eastern State Penitentiary. That was in cell block 12, which is supposed to be the worst of the worst.
Oh.
I kept trying to provoke because it seemed like nothing was really happening all that exciting. And I was with Zach Bagans and Billy Tolley and a bunch of women. But he had us all go sit in a cell each by ourselves. And I thought it was a blast. I had a blast. I don't know who all was scared, but I was having a blast. But I definitely was trying to provoke because I'm like, I want to make my trip worth it.
Right? Yeah. Give me something.
yeah, do something. But yeah, the most I got when I was up there was hot breath on the back of my neck. And again, one of my friends was next to me, not behind me. So and I asked her, like, where are you hiding? She's like, what are you talking about? I've been right here the whole time. Oh, okay. So, yeah.
It definitely wasn't her then.
No, I don't think so. I think it was one of the prisoners from that cell block, probably. So yeah, I also had something scratch something into my leg. This was just 5 years ago or so, and I didn't notice it at all. It wasn't visible until I went to take a hot bath, and I was getting into the water, and it made it red really fast, and got a picture, and to me, it looks like letters. And when I look at it and pull it away, because I get a better look when I kind of pull it away, to me, it said can't rest.
Wow.
But I've had other people look at it. They see different things. So I'm not really sure. If it's not saying can't rest, I'm not really sure what it was getting at. But it was really weird because it didn't hurt. I didn't feel a thing. And probably about 15 minutes or so after I got out of the tub, it completely went away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't rest, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought it read as.
That's a pretty specific message.
Yeah, maybe the spirit couldn't rest.
Right.
Yeah.
He was maybe asking if it could be crossed over or something.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Oh.
I mean, I was aware that there was one in there because I saw it walk into the closet one night while I was in bed. It got up from the other side of the bed, walked around the bed, went into the closet, and I thought it was my ex. So, like he was going to get something out of the closet or something. And then all of a sudden I heard him snore, and I look over, and I'm like, okay, that totally wasn't him.
We got a couple. We have Mrs. Bird Dog in the chat room there that said that when she was younger, she was jumping on the bed making faces in a mirror, and then suddenly she says looking back at her was a witch. She said no one believed her. She says, but it scared her.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's freaky.
Yeah. And then Bird Dog says, have you ever gone to a prison where anyone was executed?
Well, that would have been Eastern State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, there were areas of the prison they wouldn't let us go simply because it was dilapidated and they didn't want us to get hurt.
Yeah.
So, they limited where we could go in there. But, I mean, yeah, solitary confinement and all that was crazy. And then the hole is you have to actually go outside to another building and go downstairs.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
When I was younger,
But the creepiest thing that happened down there was cockroaches.
Oh.
So.
Well.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I always heard of people talking about Eastern State. We're going to send you to Eastern State. I never knew what it was, but until, we started doing all this.
We have Dan in the chat room also. He said, is seeing a butterfly after someone dies, he heard that means that the butterfly is that person and that they're thinking of you.
I mean, it's possible. I've come to learn that anything is possible. So, yeah, I mean, some people have said that, like, especially if the person was into butterflies, then that would make sense. It's the same thing with dragonflies, birds. Some people believe that when cardinals come near you, that it's a loved one that's crossed over that's basically saying hi. So, I mean, yeah, I would have to say you have to go with your gut feel.
Yeah.
The minute you see it and you feel like it's somebody saying hi to you, then that's probably what it is.
Does that fall in the same category of like having a smell of perfume or things like that right
Sure.
there too?
Yeah. Yeah. Perfume, cologne, cigars, cigarettes. I mean, yeah.
I know.
Not so much that they're thinking about you, but their energy is probably around.
Right.
I know after my mother passed away, it seemed like I seen butterflies, everywhere. I don't know if I was looking for something and I just noticed the butterflies, but big yellow butterfly too. But she had bought my kids a little, the swing set that's out in the backyard. And I had to put it together, and they was just freaking butterflies, all over it.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, I think if you're looking for something like that, you're going to see something.
Yeah.
Especially, I do believe the butterfly thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like Jen. I think that any of it's very possible, because I think that some of your loved ones sometimes will pop in from time to time and see how you're doing, and maybe leave something, the smell. Or
yeah,
something.
I mean, they don't have to be a ghost. They can come and go as they please.
Right.
From the other side. So, some people make that mistake because they can't make the distinction between someone being trapped or someone just visiting.
Right. Bird Dog asked a question. Have you ever heard about Brushy Mountain state prison here?
I have not.
Oh man,
Where is that at?
It's here in Tennessee. Actually, not far from the house here. Maybe 40-minute drive. It was a maximum security prison, and we've done a daytime tour on there. Now it's just a regular daytime tour, but they do have tours as far as to go ghost hunting. They have two different ones. They've got one of I think it's you and 6 people, and you only get 4 hours. And then there's another one that's you and up to 8 people, and then you get, I don't remember, 8, 9 hours or something like that. But the cost goes just through the roof. But it does. It's crazy, the cost on some of these things.
Well, you get 9 or 8 or however many people and split it. It ain't really that bad.
But we're definitely wanting to go here sometime, and
I think that comes with a meal.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, I do know that where we're going next week, when you do theirs, it comes with a meal.
Ooh.
I know it does there. But at Brushy Mountain, where Cell Block D is, that's where a lot of people get a lot of action. And Cell Block D used to be, at one point, part of the morgue. And then at one point, they converted it over to more cells. And they said over something like, I forgot exactly what it was, 15 or 20,000 people went. I mean, that prison opened up in the late 1800s. That's how old the prison is. As a matter of fact, the original part of the prison was completely built by the prisoners themselves too. And so, but no, that Cell Block D is supposed to be just, I mean, fantastic. And so, and women that go there get, like you was talking about, pinched and pulled. And, we had, the lady that was with us, taking us on that tour of Old South Pittsburgh. She and her husband done a tour, and she said that she got groped a couple of times and different things like that. So yeah, it was crazy. Yep.
Sounds like my kind of fun.
Yes, I think you would love it. It's Brushy Mountain State Prison. I think you'd like it.
No, I'll have to check that out. My mom lives in Nashville.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
That's only 2.5 hours away from us. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I went to go visit her recently. I think it was in July, and I was trying to get her to go to the Bell Witch Cave, and she was too terrified to to do that.
She lives really close, living in Nashville, the Bell Witch Cave. You just take I-24 up,
Yeah, yeah.
not far, and it's right there. We were going to go this year, but I guess because of COVID and all that stuff, they've got it closed still this year, so we didn't get to go to it. Yeah,
I didn't get to go while I was there, but
that would have been awesome.
It was kind of funny because the paranormal team I'm in here in Sioux City were at Waverly Hills when I was in Nashville.
Oh man.
I was like, oh, I'm so jealous, but I had already committed to visiting my mom, so I couldn't just get up and go, you know.
Say, hey, Mom, sorry, but something came up.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's terrible.
I know there was. She mentioned going to some prison, and I don't remember what it was called though. But she did suggest one.
I bet it was probably Smoky Mountain.
Brushy Mountain.
Or Brushy Mountain, yeah. They've got one right there in Nashville,
it could have been. But she had taken a nasty fall and out on the concrete, and she was pretty banged up. So we ended up not going because she couldn't stand on her feet too long.
The one good thing is that there's the people that run it now have started doing, a lot of work as far as keeping it up, and I mean they've got a whole huge area there that you could eat now, and they even distill their own liquor there now. I mean they got all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah, all kinds of stuff going on. Huge gift shops, and I'll tell you what's really cool as far as going like during the daytime to learn about the prison. They've got a really cool video movie theater that you could go into and watch a movie about the prison, about how it was built, the whole 9 yards, all the way up to when it was closed. But they have a lot of guys that were in the prison all the way up till it was closed as some of the tour guides there now. And so you could get them to kind of tour you around, so you'll get literally firsthand knowledge of stuff that went on there. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But usually when I investigate places, I don't want to know much of the history.
Yes.
Because I want to be able to pick up on things authentically and not know what they are until after.
Yeah.
Because then it makes sense afterward to, I heard this, I saw this, and people are looking at me with eyes wide open, like, how did you know that? Well, I'm a psychic. That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
Right.
That's why I like that one show on TV. I don't know. I think it's the Tennessee Wraith Chasers or something like that, where they have a show, but the guy knows all about it. The main guy, he knows the history and everything, and he sends them in and let them come back out and tell him, what they've witnessed. So they don't know nothing about it. That's pretty good. I like it when they do that.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's right on the money.
You get some corroborating evidence. That's cool.
That's why I like watching Dead Files.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because she goes in there not knowing anything. And, that she has that one guy that covers up anything that would give her any hint.
Yeah.
And then, when they sit down at the end and compare the research to what she picked up on is just phenomenal. And another thing is I like to test my own ability watching that show.
Oh, really? So can, on stuff like that, can you pick up on locations even through like film?
Yes, I sure can. Yep.
Oh, that's
crazy. Not movies, but TV shows. What was I was watching Nick Groff at Hinsdale House, I believe. which I'm friends with David Clay, the guy that owns it now. But I've never been there, and I was watching Nick that night, and I think it was with Katrina. That's when he was with Katrina investigating, and I got so focused in on it that I pulled something through to my home.
Oh,
and it was a pretty nasty one too, and I had to get rid of it because it was doing things like growling and
wow,
you know. And I told it ahead of time. I was like, you're gonna get gone whether you want to or not. As soon as I get my stuff set up here and open the windows, you're gonna go. So you might as well just go ahead and go while you're at it right now. And then he growled at me. So I was like, all right, well, here we go. and I did. I evicted him. And then another psychic friend of mine, she was worried about me, and I told her what I was doing, and she's like, okay, well, we did the cleansing, and he's outside now, but he's like pacing around like he wants to try to get back in. I said, well, it's sealed up. He's not coming back in.
Wow.
And he hasn't.
Wow.
So yeah.
So when you accidentally pulled him through like that, I mean, did you get it? Was it a malicious spirit, or did you think it was something kind of demonic?
Yeah,
or I mean,
it was not human. I know that much.
Okay.
I can't really pinpoint what exactly it was, but I know it wasn't human. The type of growl that it was, giving me was not. It didn't sound like a human growl.
Wow.
So, I've had to be a bit more careful watching these shows because I can sometimes tune in too much. But I can do that remotely. I can connect with spirit and get answers remotely. And I've done that watching Dead Files. And it's funny because I'll say something out loud and, my husband will be watching with me or something. And I'll say something out loud, and then just a few seconds later, Amy will say something. And like she basically picked up the same thing like seconds after I'm watching.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I've picked up on names. I've picked up on initials. I've picked up on what they look like. I mean, just it's a variety. It's whatever spirit will give me. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Wow.
It keeps my abilities sharp.
That's pretty cool though. And then the ability to pull something from somewhere else to you though, that's just almost kind of creepy though.
It is. I was tuning into the house and I could feel the things in there, but for some reason that particular one somehow picked up on me tuning in, which I believe that they can do. And yeah, that's how it happened. It was actually giving me answers.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, what the heck? I'm trying to think of the other show that I watched that I had an experience with as far as that goes. I think it was Holzer Files.
I hate that they got rid of that.
It was one that Dave got pushed over like really hard. I picked up on the nasty spirit at that place too, but it didn't come here.
That's a good thing. Have you ever had anything follow you back from an investigation?
Not in many, many years. I usually am pretty good at protecting myself when I come back from a place that had nasty activity.
Gotcha.
So I do whatever I have to make sure that they're not going to follow me. I always tell them they're not welcome, and I already have enough ghosts in this house. I don't need any. The ones that are here, they've been here for a long time, and they're pretty mellow. So there's one that likes to play with our rabbits, because we have 3 Angora rabbits. Wow. And you'll just hear them running around in the middle of the night, like they're trying to run from something, or
They're like, oh my God.
what are they doing in there? I'm like, don't scare the rabbits.
Leave the rabbits alone. I had something kind of similar in the house where I saw the little girl way before I ever saw her, and we actually got a pretty good EVP. But before that, I knew that it was a kid spirit, because I could wake up in the morning on days I was off and everybody else in the house would be asleep, and I'd turn on the TV and turn on the surround sound system, but I'd turn it on really low. And the only way to go from where it's like, say, on 3, the volume, to go to max is to turn. There's a knob on the front of the system that you'd have to turn to get it to go to max, without hitting the button or something to go up 1 or 2 at a time, and it would just go whoop up to max. And so I would sit there and play for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes I'd turn it down and it would turn it up, and I'd turn it down and it would turn it up. And then I'd finally be like, okay, we got to stop doing this, because, we're going to wake everybody in the house up, and it would just stop, So yeah, it was pretty fun. I did.
It might have been a really old person with hearing problems.
Maybe. Maybe.
They're like, I can't hear it, I like turning it up.
Turn it up.
Did you tell her about what we did with it?
No, tell her the story.
Oh my gosh.
Tell her the story.
I've never had a real paranormal experience.
Yeah, my house was his first real paranormal experience. And that's what started this show, right? Our website originally was myhouseishaunted.com, right? And and then it morphed into Project Dark Corona. And
this was in 2012.
Yeah, that's when we originally started. Then we did it for a few years. We took a few years off because of, family stuff. And then we came back we're almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I'll let Jason tell the story.
Well, anyway, David, we worked together, and he comes up to me and said, you got to come over. We're going to investigate this, the little girl thing. Must have been after Easter when he saw the girl. Oh, it was the picture of his stepson.
Yes.
A selfie that they had took, and you could see this little girl hanging upside down with no face. I mean, her face was there, but it was all muffled.
Yeah.
In like a doorway. So he gets me over there, and I go in, and I'm sitting in his chair, and we got our little meters out, and every time I'd go across my knee, this meter would just go crazy. And I didn't have anything metal in my pockets or nothing. And I just sit there for 5 minutes just watching that meter. And while the meter was going, we was recording EVPs too. And I asked it, I said, "Are you sitting on my lap?" Well, a couple of seconds went by, and it goes, "Yes." And, I forget, it was so crazy. Then David told it to leave or stop or something.
Well, this is before we even played back the EVP or anything like that. And so he would go up, like from his leg, and go up, and it would get, I don't know, maybe about 3 foot, 3.5 foot above his knee, and it would go away. And when he'd come back down, it would be there again. And he'd go to the left and right, and so far over to the left it'd go away, so far over to the right it would go away, but it would come back every time he'd come back into that range. And so I said, "She's sitting on your lap." He was sitting in my chair, and she was sitting on his lap, and that's when we asked, "Are you sitting on his lap?" And we heard, well, we didn't hear it. It was on the EVP, but she said yes. And he did that for probably another, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, maybe 5 minutes. And I was like, "All right, we're done playing now. You could go do something else." And it stopped. It was done. You couldn't do.
Wow.
It wouldn't. You couldn't do it at all anymore. It just was not there. And so it was like, okay, so we went outside and rewound it and played it and heard the yes after the question. And Jason told me, see you later. He left. He wouldn't come back to my house for over 2 weeks.
I said, boys, I got to go.
Yeah. I left a thing at the place and I've got to go.
It's kind of spooky for me.
So, yeah, it was hilarious.
The only other time I remember being that, spooked out was I don't know, I think it was an out-of-body experience when I was sleeping. And it was like I was up on the ceiling, but I was like swimming, trying to get back down to myself in the bed. And it was just so hard to do that. And then finally I went back in and I woke straight up, and it scared me to death. I never want to do that again.
See, and I've done that before. I've done the astral travel, but not on purpose.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do it. It just happened. I thought I was dreaming there for a minute until I woke up, and it just felt so real, and it just really scared me.
Well, it probably was real. And the funny thing is they say that when you come out of that, you feel like absolutely exhausted, like you didn't sleep at all. I don't know if you felt that or not.
I can't remember. It's been 25, 30 years ago. But it's never happened again.
Told you, I tried like heck for a long time to astral travel or do any of that stuff. And and he just does it, and then he never wants to do it again. I was like, man, I'd like to do it at least once.
Well, I thought I might have been dead for a few minutes or seconds or something. It just scared me. I don't know. So that's my paranormal experiences. David's seen Bigfoot, had ghosts, and
I have seen Bigfoot.
Everything else, nah, I can't. I ain't got nothing.
I don't know. For some reason, I get lucky like that. I guess I don't know. I can't say how or why, but and then the same thing with seeing the ghosts and knowing that something's there. It's just for some reason I can know something's there. It's just my body feels different, and I know something's there, but I don't know what it is. I just know that it's something else. So I don't know.
So what all's in your book is it real experiences or?
Yes,
it is.
Yes, it's actually my paranormal autobiography.
Oh, tell us a little bit about the book. The full name of the book, because we've just got the, the main title, but it has a secondary title too, and where everybody could find it. Because I know it's on where was that? Because I was just looking it
Amazon?
up. It was on Amazon, but it was also on Borders.
It's on Amazon.
Wasn't it Borders too?
Or
something?
Sure. I'm not sure. I only know about it.
Or Barnes and Noble, maybe.
It is on Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's on Barnes and Noble.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I really did not know that. Yeah, I self-published on Amazon, so and it's called Dark Night Haunting: The Life of a Paranormal Investigator, and it's using my old name before I got married. And it actually, that last name is Devillier.
Oh, Devillier.
Yeah, it's a Cajun last name. Yeah. Yeah. So Jons is a lot easier to say,
right? That's for sure.
So yeah, the book is about roughly around where my gifts started with the shadow person and how I grew up, everything that I sort of experienced and all the different places that I lived, because like I said, I had encounters in almost every single place. So, and then I started to figure out, okay, these aren't haunted locations. I'm the one that's just picking up on them. And yeah, it goes all the way up until about 2010, I think.
Wow.
Or 2012, something like that. So yeah, it seems like a small book, but it has a lot of my experiences in there. And it also has, some basic do's and don'ts for people that want to get into it, and, simple tips like that. But yeah, to my knowledge, it was only on Amazon, but hey, if it's on Borders, that's cool too. Or Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Wherever it's at, that's cool with me.
That's like, I'm looking, it's also on Goodreads.
Yes. Yeah, somebody did a review.
Price Pulse, let's see, app, books.google.com. It's on a few places. IndieWire did a review on it. So, yeah.
So can you get a digital version of it, or?
It does. It comes in Kindle or in paperback.
Do you have an audiobook version?
I do not have an audiobook. No.
I'm a truck driver, and I have 11 hours every day to drive.
Uh-huh.
And I consume massive amounts of books in that form, just because, that's when I have a ton of time.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I will be writing more though, so I've got content in some of my colleagues' books, and I wrote a foreword for another colleague's book. So,
ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've written a bunch of blogs. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place.
Well, that's good though. You're.
I don't know. I don't know how much comes up when you type in Jen Jons, but I know for sure if you type in Jen Devillier on Google, there's a ton of stuff that comes up because I've done numerous podcasts. I've spoken at events, and then of course the book. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff comes up.
Wow.
So I'm trying to kind of rebrand myself with a new name.
Yeah, that's
because a lot of people didn't know when I changed my name on Facebook. They were like, they weren't sure it was me.
Gotcha. They're like, is this you?
I was like, it's me. Yeah, I see when you type in Jen Jons, some cafe comes up. That's weird. In California.
Nice.
It does. It says Jen Jons Cafe. All right, I have a cafe.
Ooh, look at that. You didn't even know it, did you?
Looks like it's a chain, too.
Hey.
Different places in California.
I think you should get some royalties or something. What's up with that?
That'd be pretty cool to make a trip there and have a picture taken outside of it.
My last name is Reagan. And
oh, really?
Yeah. And so here in East Tennessee, when you get over to a place that's really close to here, it's got a lot of tourism and stuff, and in Gatlinburg and stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of the Reagans owned a lot of that land, and so you have Reagan Inn and Reagan this and Reagan that, and I've tried to go in and get half off on stuff, but they won't let me. So, but I try.
No,
I say you don't know until you try. So. That's funny. We're going to take a quick break, and look at all these people still showing up in the chat room over here. But we're going to take a quick break again, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about your book, and
okay,
and ask you some questions as far as what's some of the creepiest things that you've ever had happen to you, and
okay,
and all kinds of good fun phone questions. Jason's over here. I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing, Jason?
Oh, I'm just looking at some of her stuff.
Oh, he pulled you up. That's what he did. He's pulling you up right now. So we're going to go take us a quick break, and we'll be right back. We're talking to Jen Jons, and her book is Dark Night Haunting. You're listening to David and Jason on Project Dark Corona. And remember, everybody, listen to us on Spreaker and on Podbean. But you could also come to projectdarkcorona.org. Sign up, become a member. It's free. But you come into the chat room there and you can listen to us. So we will see you here in just a couple minutes after these messages.
You're listening to Project Dark Corona.
Hey, this is Jeff Reagan with the band Catalyst. You're listening to Project Dark Corona.
Do you like the paranormal, cryptids, and folklore? Then join us at Project Dark Corona on Spreaker. We have a live show on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. We interview the best in all subjects of paranormal and strange. Also, join us on projectdarkcorona.org. When you sign up, become a member, you'll get to hear the latest blogs and episodes. Thanks, and remember, Project Dark Corona Podcasts.
Hey, everybody. This is Matt Sieber from EastTennesseeBigfoot.org. You're listening to David and Jason at Project Dark Corona Radio.
All right, welcome back.
Welcome back from that little break. And again, we got to thank Catalyst East Tennessee for that awesome music.
Oh, yeah.
Remember to check us out on Facebook. That's Everything Paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, Aliens, and Ghosts. And on Twitter, it's Project Dark Coro. That's Coro. And we're sitting here talking with Jen Jons and talking about her book. And she's a psychic and talking about some of her experiences and stuff like that. So we're going to bring Jen back on. And during the break, I came up with a very good question thanks to Jason. So, hey, Jen, how you doing?
Good.
Jason was looking some stuff up, and I saw something, and I was like, oh, no. It reminded me of one of our listeners, right? So one of our listeners had something that happened not too long ago. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Her name is Allison, and she's one of our premium members. And I saw where you wrote in a friend of yours book about dead pets and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she just lost a pet. And she had a battle with cancer. The pet did, the dog did. And her and her daughters have had dreams about her the first night that she passed. And they could hear her walking around the house. And she said that while she was dreaming, a song popped into her head. It was a song from Hanson. It was called With You in Your Dreams. And and her husband has heard, the dog walking around and things like that. So, for Allison, do you believe that the pets come back and visit us and things like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, they for sure do. I mean, I've had similar situations. It seems like one of my cats that passed away many years ago occasionally visits. For me, it's the feeling of the jumping up in the bed and the walking. You know how cats do that? They jump up in your bed and they start walking towards you.
Yes.
Coming up towards the top. I've heard purring. I've heard meowing. But the most recent of all was maybe about a year or two ago. He came into my dream and was talking to me like a person.
Wow.
And I'm just looking at him going, okay, this is odd, but I'm going with it. So, yeah, he was just chatting with me. So, yeah, I definitely believe that they probably are not stuck because there's no reason for a pet to be stuck. They're innocent and there's just no reason for that. But I do feel that they can visit you just like your passed over loved ones can visit you.
Okay.
I think it's great too that some of the money that you make goes to the local animal shelter.
Yes. That
awesome.
one was actually that was set up when I was still living in San Antonio, and I was donating it to the shelter that they have there, a non-kill shelter. And here I donate to the local Humane Society. Well, what do they call it? The Humane Society.
Oh.
But they're super active in helping animals all the time. So when I do donate, it is to them.
That's awesome.
I tend to do that whichever city I'm staying in. Sometimes I donate online too to other ones that need help with their organizations, and because I love animals.
Yeah. We've got Me and the wife have a little puppy dog. And
She stays down here with us when we do the
yeah,
show.
when we do the podcast, she has a bed down here, and she prefers to stay down here with us while we're doing the show than to go upstairs with Mama. It's funny.
That is funny.
Matter of fact, before the show started, she was like, "I'm going to bed. Let's go to bed." And so she jumped up and ran upstairs with her. And then like 2 seconds later, she comes running. You could hear her running down the stairs. She comes back in here and lays down on her bed. I was like, well, I guess she didn't want to go to bed.
Or she did want to go to bed, but that bed.
That's it. She wanted it down here instead of up there. She did ask a question too, though, in this that she wrote, and she was asking, are there pet mediums, and just kind of asking some stuff about pet mediums, like are they real, and is it actually a thing, and where can she maybe find one, and stuff like that.
Yes, it is definitely a thing. As a psychic, we all sort of have different gifts. So most of us are not the same type of psychic as another psychic.
Right.
So when it comes to pets, that's because they've chosen to use their gifts to communicate with animals. And I know that they can because I've communicated with animals. I don't do it like a full-fledged medium of, animals could, but I don't know, for me, I think it's more like telepathy with them, or I feel their feelings or stuff like that. It's never straightforward. An example of that would be that same grandmother's house that I was talking about when we were living there. His grandmother had a very old Labrador, huge black one. And the grandmother was at work one day. I went and was sitting down there with the dog because the dog, for some reason, wanted me to sit down with her. So I said, okay, well, I'll do that. And she just started to look at me, and I started. What's that?
Jason accidentally clicked on something there.
Sorry.
Oh. So she's looking at me, and I start picking up on. It's so weird to say. Okay, so when it comes to telepathically, it's like they're talking to me, but I don't hear it audibly. So it's she was telling me that she didn't have much longer to live, like the dog didn't. And she was okay with it. She already knew. And she was worried about the grandmother and how she was going to take it. So I thought that was pretty, wow,
Yeah. So,
because if you think about it, I think if an animal could tell you something like that, I think that they probably would.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, anybody that's had an animal for long enough can tell, that not only do they have their own personalities, but they've got, they're alive. They've got a soul. They've got everything. I mean, we'll sit here and she'll be asleep and she'll start dreaming and running in her sleep and doing all kinds of stuff. And I just don't think that's something that, that doesn't have a mind and a soul of its own. It wouldn't have that innate ability to do that. So I believe that, when they pass on, if they feel that you are mourning them or something like that they would feel that they would want to come and try to make you feel better, because that's what most animals do anyway.
But that was a strange experience, because it wasn't too long after that that she ended up having a tumor that even if they operated on it, it still wasn't a guarantee, that she would make it. She more likely wasn't going to because she was an elderly dog.
Wow.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty fantastic to be sitting there with her, and she's like totally at peace. She's just worried about, the grandmother and how sad she was going to be having losing the dog because her husband was already passed away. So, other than us living in the house upstairs, she didn't really have anybody else other than the dog.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I
thought, man.
It just hit me when he was sitting there looking at that, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what to ask. Because she they're the whole family, her husband, they miss the dog, and I was like, we need to try to help them out if we can. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
For sure, it's not a ridiculous thing to sit down with a pet and try to connect with them. It's not ridiculous. And I do believe that animals can imprint on you as well. I'm not sure how much I really knew that until we got these Angora rabbits. But the first one was the little black female, and she instantly bonded with me. Instantly.
Really?
I saw her on a Facebook page, and I was like, I've got to have that rabbit. That rabbit's mine. And I couldn't explain it. And then when I went to go see her, she sat on my lap and she just hunkered down into my lap, which was odd for her age. They'd be trying to run around and get away, and
right.
She wasn't trying to do any of that. She was happy being on my lap.
She was just like, "Oh, this is good right here." That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I feel the
and
same thing with our
is.
dog. When I saw her online, and I was just like, "This is the puppy dog I want to get." And we went and picked her up in Knoxville, and I don't know. I've had dogs all my life and stuff, but this little dog right here is awesome. I don't think I'll ever have another one after she goes. It'll be it.
Yeah, you will.
I don't think so. I don't think I can. I'll miss this one too much. It's crazy, but I will. She's a good puppy dog. She rides. She rides everywhere we go in the truck and stuff. So
I wish I could do that with my rabbit. I don't think she would very much like that, though. Although she would be in my office right now if I let her. She'd be in here with me too.
yeah,
But I've got some cords hanging down. I didn't want her to.
No chewing, huh?
No chewing, yeah. She's two of them. Her and the youngest rabbit, which is a male. They're the no good ones. They're always up to no good. I'm like, she's a mama's girl, but she's always trying to find an angle.
That's it. What can I
And
do?
then the middle male is actually her brother, and he's very opposite of her. He's very calm and mellow, and he's a really good rabbit. He just likes to chill out.
Now,
But,
being a psychic, have you ever got anything to where you thought it was, I don't know, interdimensional or something like that, or something that wasn't from this planet?
I that's a hard one to call.
Right.
I mean, because I have so many experiences that half the time I don't know what the heck is going on, to be totally honest.
Right.
In this house, there's stuff that goes on, but I see flashing lights and and I've had my eyes checked because I was starting to kind of freak out. I'm like, is there something wrong with my eyes? I mean, I don't know if it's that or something else going on. So I had my eyes checked, and she told me my eyes were great. I mean, I wear reading glasses, but I mean, they dilated my pupils and everything and like really looked in there, and there's nothing. So I'm like, okay then. So what are these? And then I started to figure out that the colored ones are usually when the fairies are around.
Okay.
They're like little tiny colored orbs that just kind of zip by. They're like, zoop, or like a twinkle. It looks like a little twinkle. And you're like, what the heck was that? It almost looks like a camera flash.
Do you get a lot of interactions with the Fae?
I do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And they love it that I have animals in the house, which is, again, the 3 rabbits and the 2 birds. But I also have a little fairy garden set up in my office. And the reason why is because it started for me when I actually had a full-on experience with them, which was that my car somehow got infested with ants.
Oh.
Like, literally, like, one day, nothing. Next day, it's full of ants on the inside. And I'm going, what?
Where did this come from?
And I'm like, there's no way I can, get rid of all these ants. And I'm not putting a bomb off in my car,
Right.
I have to drive it. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try it. And I asked if they would help to relocate the ants to get them out of my car. And I kid you not, the next day, no ants.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really strange. It was really weird and really cool at the same time. So I thought, okay, you know what? Ever since then, I've been paying them homage. Every time I want to, like people pray for people's pets and stuff, and I call the fairies. So, I mean,
yeah.
But they appear to me as little flashes of light, kind of like a camera flash or something like that. But here lately, I've been seeing other things, and I'm just going, what in the actual heck is that? And it'll look like, seriously, they're like little tiny, and I'll be doing something on my computer, and it just gets right in my side of view towards the bottom of like where I'm looking, and it just like keeps like swirling back and forth like a little, almost like a laser light going really fast though, but it's in slow motion. I'm going, what the heck? So yeah, I have no idea what that is, and I have no idea where it comes from. Yeah, there are things that happen that I really can't even connect or explain what they would be. So
earlier this year, we had a lady on that that I guess she's a witch, and she talks about the Fae and a lot of other creatures and stuff, and she's actually had things manifest just out of thin air, like feathers and things like that, just manifest out of thin air and just fall out of the thin air. I was like, that is fantastic. It's pretty crazy,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I've found feathers just like out of nowhere, and I'm like, that's not from my birds because their feathers don't look like that.
Right. And she talked about also like cutting down trees and doing things like that. And, where the bunker here is, we are way back in the woods, and I've got to cut a bunch of trees down here pretty soon. And, so, she was like, you've got to, just tell them why you've got to do it and stuff like that, and let them know before you just cut them down, because, you might get some stuff you don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I was like,
I get heartbroken when I see people trimming trees around here, chunking, or they're taking the whole darn thing down, and I'm going, why did you take it all down? Why couldn't you just trim it?
I've got a lot
So,
of them
yeah.
that I'm just going to top. Quite a few of them that I've just got to top, and not actually take the whole tree down. But there's a few of them that I've got to take down because they're diseased and so they're not even healthy anymore. But she told me to go outside and make an offering to them and tell them, why I have to we have to bring the trees down, and then I may not. She said that her husband cut a tree down after she told him to make an offering. She went out and made an offering, but he didn't. Well, he thought her offering covered him. He cut the tree down, and he was in his car the very next day, and his brakes went out or something like that happened, and he got in a wreck. And she's like, "Did you make your offering?" And he said, "Nope." And she goes, "You better go make your offering." She said that they get pretty mad if you don't give them their offering.
Yeah, they can be spiteful. I thought whenever I connect with them to do readings on people, they're pretty snarky. They really are. Because you usually would think of them as being, I don't know, playful, But when I do readings, sometimes it comes out and they're just real smart asses about it. And you're like, geez, man, do you have to be that harsh about it? But I mean, at the same time, they're being very blunt as they can be. And, you have to be able to appreciate that right. They're not going to sugarcoat something. Not that they can't be sweet, because, there are sometimes that they'll say something that's, nice, but yeah, they're an interesting bunch.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like talking about like the Fae and things like that.
Yeah, they're I love them. They're good. I do. And I talk to angels every day too.
So now when you talk to these angelic beings, how would you put it, Jason? What do they impart knowledge on you? I mean, what is it that they do? Because I know, like, a lot of people believe that you have angels that are protecting angels that protect you, and you have, these different types of angels. And so when you actually are able to communicate with one, like you can do, what is it that they help with?
Okay, so they come through in a lot of different ways, and a lot of ways you might not actually expect that they're coming through. For me, sometimes it's when I'm talking to someone and I say something that's like totally uncharacteristic of me. Like, I don't really have a good example, but it'll be something that I'll be like, that definitely did not come from me. I'm like, that came from an angel, because I realize what's going on when it's happening, like right after I say it, I'll be, I know where it came from then. But sometimes it's to help other people. When they come through to me, they may be providing me comfort if I'm going through a difficult time or illness, things like that. And interesting enough, I've been feeling Archangel Metatron around me a lot lately. And I've never, ever worked with Metatron. So I thought, well, this is different. I've been seeing like shapes, or what they call sacred geometry, which is related to him. And him and Sandalphon were the only two archangels that were ever human.
Okay.
So they know more about us than anything.
So did they actually incarnate, or did they move from being a human, and after they passed away, went into being an angel?
Yeah, they were human, and then they were made into angels.
Gotcha.
And their brothers.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of interesting, because I thought, well, man, they might know more about how to help me with my stuff than anybody, because they know what it's like to be human.
Right.
And I'm still not really sure what it's about yet. I just know that I'm drawn to the shapes all of a sudden, and I'm having dreams with the shapes. I could be doing whatever on the internet and come across that, one of those shapes, and I'm just going, okay, this is a recurring theme here. And I was looking for a particular stone. It's called a blue gold stone, which is a really, really dark blue with gold flecks in it, but it looks like looking at the sky at night, like you're looking at stars. It's really cool.
Wow.
And here's the thing. I'm looking on Amazon. I'm like, okay, where can I find one of these stones? Because I found out that it helps with business and things like that. So I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. And lo and behold, I click the next page and land right on one that's the shape of the Metatron shape, the cube.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, I have to have that. That's mine. I knew I had to have it. So I've been doing meditations with, they have like these cool meditation music on YouTube that you just have to listen to. You don't have to like actually do anything. Mm-hmm. Just listen, like certain frequencies, and trying to open up that channel as best as I can with angels and whatever else. So I'm like, but the main thing with them is they always want to help people, but we have to give them permission. Otherwise they can't really do anything.
Okay.
Protection's one thing if, your life is in danger and it's not your time yet. But, as far as like, when you pray and things like that, if angels come into it, you have to tell them, I give you full permission to help guide me, or, something like that. And it works the same way with your spirit guides too, actually. So your spirit guides can only give you limited information until you actually give them permission.
How would you know the difference between, say, if it's a spirit guide talking to you or an angel?
Well, for me, it's the way they come through.
Okay.
Like the way they talk, the way the message comes through. My spirit guide almost sounds like a voice in my head, which is, I didn't know that for the longest time, and I had a hard time with it because I'm like, am I talking to a ghost, a spirit? What the heck is, And it took me years to figure that out. And now that I have that figured out, when they do tell me something, I listen to them, because I know that if I don't listen to them, something not so nice is going to happen.
Oh.
So, because they're usually giving me a heads up.
Okay. So this is
which is nice.
So it's like, this is coming down the line. Be careful.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Kind of that. Or when you do this, you're going to want to say yes. Things like that. They will never tell you, hey, don't do this. They're more like, if you do this, then this might happen. Does that make sense? They're not negative.
Yeah.
So if you hear, you're going to get hurt again if you do that. No, that's actually your ego talking, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's in my world, I'm hearing voices all the time, and it's taken me years to figure out who's what.
So
it's been a long road. And actually, when I started connecting with the spirit guides, I had to use a Ouija board, which is the whole reason I got into that, I guess. And I made an agreement with them. Look, I can't understand you, so please use this. And I didn't let anything else come through. I've always been very careful in using protection before and after using one. So it's, I'm not calling on anything unsavory. If I even get a whiff of how they're talking to me and it doesn't sound like my spirit guide, I'm like, get out.
I have a really funny Ouija board story.
That is right. She makes custom Ouija boards too.
What? Do you really?
Yeah. I haven't done it in a long time, but yeah, I used to make them.
Wow.
In fact, cool. Robert Murch, the big Ouija historian guy, has one of my boards.
That's cool. Yeah,
we did a lecture together one year, and I gave him one of my boards. I'm like, here, you like to collect them, so I want you to have this one.
That's cool. I was I don't know, I think I was about 17. I was over at a buddy of mine's house, and he had a Ouija board. And so we broke it out, just having fun, right? Just, whatever, this stuff ain't real. And I didn't really, I believed in a lot of other things, but the Ouija board, I was just kind of like, whatever on. And it was really weird, from the one time that I've ever used it, because I was at the end of the story, you'll know why. I was like, I'm done. But it was really funny because we broke it out and we started messing around with it. And I placed my hands on the planchette and he placed his on there. And it was, at first this thing just like creeps. It barely even moves. But by the time it was about 10, 15 minutes or so, that thing's moving. And the whole time that we're, like, before we answer a question or ask a question, it's moving in a figure eight. It's like it just sits there and it's moving in a figure eight. And, yeah. Then when we ask a question, it just, it either spells it out, it's a yes or no question, or what, it's almost as immediate that it just starts answering this question. And so we pull in the spirit, and she tell us, my buddy has a cemetery at the end of his block, and she tells us that she's buried in the cemetery, and so we keep talking to her. She literally tells us from his house how to get to her gravestone, her name, the whole 9 yards, right? And we're like, you know what? We'll go check it out. So we walk down to it exactly where she said it was. To the headstone. Name, everything on the headstone was it was perfect. And that's wow. It. I never touched it again. Yeah, never touched another one. I was like, that's crazy. It made a believer out of me. That's what it did. It made a complete believer out of me.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that's actually, whenever I do lectures, that's usually what they ask me to talk about is Ouija boards. So.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have actually, I did a video interview with Eddie Hill in, San Antonio, Texas. And, that's what he wanted me to talk about on there too. So that was, a lot of people don't really know enough about it. And
I think that's
for me, I feel like people do need to know about it if they're going to do anything revolving around a board.
Right, because there's a right way to open them and there's a right way to close them, isn't there?
Kind of. You have to you have to know what you're doing. You can't just like grab one and just start using it. Because then it is kind of, you could be opening, something you really don't want to open. But what I have to say about that is that goes across the board for anything used to contact the dead.
Okay.
Including yourself.
So would that include
you have to
tarot?
be careful with it can include anything.
Because I used to do tarot. I actually enjoyed it. I probably did it for a few years, and really
I do it, but
enjoyed
I'm not connecting with the dead though when I'm using it. So I do. There are people that do.
Right.
I mean, I probably could if I really wanted to, but I tend to like just talking to them telepathically. That's my favorite way to go. And I do like digital recorders a lot too.
Yeah, the DVR. We've got a couple good recordings, and the thing I like about the DVR is that you could let someone listen. This is what we caught. There's only two of us in this room, and that's not my voice, and that's not,
right.
so-and-so's voice.
Yeah.
So you tell me where this come from, Mr. Skeptic, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had quite a few people that were like, oh, well, I don't believe in that stuff. And then I'll show them the picture Jason was talking about where my stepson was taking a picture of himself for his Facebook account. And he was taking a picture of himself, and I was at work that day. I actually worked a 9 to 5 at that time. I wasn't a truck driver. And I got a call at work going, come home now. And I was like, what? And so they sent me the picture, and I looked and I started laughing. I was like, oh, it ain't going to hurt you. Because as soon as I saw it, I recognized it as that little girl. And I was like,
oh, okay.
I was like, I've seen her, and then I just drew the correlation that I think that she was the one also playing with the knob on the surround sound system. And I was like, we've never had anything malicious happen,
Right.
So why would you go to the extreme? And a lot of people tend to do that though. But
yeah,
I've never met one that I was afraid of, like terrified as I've been an adult,
mm-hmm.
And in my house, I've been scratched. I've actually got pictures of, I have 3 scratches that come from my right ear, all the way down to my neck. And I was sitting in my recliner, and all of a sudden it started burning and stinging, and had 3 scratches coming down my neck. And, but it didn't scare me. I wasn't afraid of it. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Probably just an attention thing.
I think so. And, little kids do crazy things because they don't think about it, And
right.
For an example, I have a granddaughter. Maybe she'll listen to this when she's older, and she's going to get mad at me. But about a year ago, my wife was sitting down, and she wasn't paying the granddaughter any attention. So the granddaughter went and bit her on the butt. Like literally bit her, like, bit her. And to this day, it's funny because, she's, 6 now? And she'll still ask her, why did you do that? But, I just think, kids do the craziest things, and sometimes they don't even realize why they do them,
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I think it's funny.
You think it's funny?
I do. I think she didn't bite me on the butt. so I think it's funny.
So I want to talk just for a second.
Oh, let's do it.
About what paranormal really is.
Oh, that's a good deep conversation.
It is. For me, David knows how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I feel, and you can just tell me how you feel about it too, and see if you think I may be crazy or something. But anyway, I think that everything that's paranormal, unexplained. You got the button ready?
Oh, is it the crickets button?
No, I'm going to keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Don't give me the crickets. But everything paranormal that you can't explain, can't debunk, even the cryptids, I think, is dimensional. I do. When we die, this is what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
When we die, we're in the what?
Third dimension.
Third dimension right
Yes.
now. Maybe we move up. And, you know, maybe our soul goes, I know it turns into energy, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes into like the fifth dimension or the fourth.
Fourth is time, supposedly.
Yeah. But, and I think sometimes we can, that veil is thin and we can see into the, or people can, you know, see us and we can see them or hear them. But not everybody can do that.
Glimpse into
Just the people that are kind of
sensitive
to it.
Right.
But I just think it's all dimensional.
Well, Mike Ricksecker, we had him on the show, and he believes the same thing though on a lot of the stuff because he had something happen at that school where this entity like ran, but instead of going through a door, and it was like one of those push through doors, it hit it, bounced off of it, and then ran down a hallway. And, you know, he was thinking that maybe in its dimension or its time, because I do believe that some things we see may be time related to where like we're seeing something in the past and the past is seeing us. Mm-hmm. And we both are going, that's a ghost, you know? And this thing hit a wall and took off running, but in this time that wall didn't exist. I don't know. What do you think about that, Jen?
I have a complete open mind with all of it because I think anything is possible. Anything.
Right.
I had a thought and I lost it. Darn it.
I hate when that happens.
Me too, because I think I had something good in mind too. Ah, gosh darn it. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I believe in all of it. And, like one of the things that made me really think about it are such beings as the Wendigo.
Yes.
The Wendigos. Remember, you guys brought that up a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
I don't think that that's a natural terrestrial to our planet, you know? But it's like, where do they come from? I don't know.
Right.
Why don't we see more of them? I don't know.
Right.
You know, and people think of Bigfoot as flesh and blood creatures, but why is no one able to actually find any of their remains, any of their excrement, anything?
Yep.
All you get is sightings.
Yeah, and you
That's
get
it.
1 or 2 footsteps and then they disappear.
Yeah.
And
They're completely just poof, gone. It's like, okay.
That's even with spirits too. You see them one minute and the next minute they're not there. They're gone.
Yeah.
Or you hear them, then they're gone.
Right.
I just don't. To me, it's just obvious, but I'm probably wrong.
Well, no, I think that, like Jen said, I think to keep an open mind because I don't think anybody can say they know everything about all of these subjects.
No.
And if they do,
that's why I always say no one's an expert, because it always annoys me when I see TV shows and they're calling people paranormal experts, and I'm going, are you kidding me? There's no one in the field that's an expert. Nobody.
Right. If they were an expert, they'd be able to on command be able to have something happen. You know, I mean.
Well, there would be no mystery anymore if there was an expert.
Right. We have a guy on a lot, East Tennessee Bigfoot guy, and his name's Matt Sieber, and we'll bring him on. And you know, he's the same way. He's like, there is no experts in this field. He goes, if there was an expert, they'd be able to bring one to you and show him to you. He said, I consider that an expert. If someone could bring you a Bigfoot on command and just they've got one, or they know where to go see them, then we'll call them an expert. Until then, there is no experts.
Right. Yeah, you'd have to know exactly where one is,
Yeah.
how to lure it in. Yeah, I mean, nobody knows that.
Right.
And it's the same with the other cryptids, like you're talking about Mothman,
yes.
Jersey Devil, any of those. I mean, where do they go?
Right.
Why do we only have sightings? We don't have anything else but sightings, right? And then mysteries that happen around it.
Right. I have a kind of a crazy belief myself, and but mine is with what people call demons. Right. I honestly believe that, kind of like what Jason was talking about, that it's a higher dimensional being, 5th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever dimensional being, but it's like a leech, or whatever, that it requires a host to get its energy or get whatever, and so it brings itself down to this level to find a host and to feed off of it, and I don't know, for some reason I just have a feeling that it's just something like that, that it's not something of this plane at all.
Yeah.
And we just call it a demon. I call it a parasite.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they are. Yeah.
I would call it a goa'uld. If anybody's watched Stargate.
Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, they need a host to survive.
That's funny. I love it. So, what do you believe as far as like the afterlife? Like, where do we go after this life?
From what I know from speaking to spirits, there's different options. You can either stay on the other side, whatever that is, and work, but it's a different kind of work. It's not like how we work. Like when a loved one passes away, they can choose to become your spirit guide.
Okay.
And I have proof of that because one of my best friends died about 6 years ago, and he ended up choosing to be one of my spirit guides, and he is around me all the time.
Wow.
So I was like, well, that was nice of you to do that.
Right. Yeah.
But so you can opt to do that kind of work, or I guess there's like various jobs over there. I don't even know what all the jobs are over there, but you're basically living another life, but not here. And it's, devoid of the negative of what we go through here. So that's why we come here, is because the negative stuff teaches us.
Okay.
Whereas over there, it's, happy-go-lucky, no problems. So that's one option. Another option is to reincarnate and come back to this earth.
I'm a firm believer in reincarnation.
So there's options.
Yeah.
what you do once you get to the other side. I also think that we do have a tie to other universes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we can go pretty much almost anywhere.
Yeah.
And from what I know from the ones I've spoken to, they've told me that they can be in different places at the same time. So, like, when people are worried about whether or not they can talk to their loved one that's passed on, and the answer is yes. they're never so busy that they can't hear you. They can hear you no matter where they are. So, that's what I know about it. The rest is all kind of like, I wonder, But that's all I know, and that's just from talking to them.
Right. I had a conversation with a friend of mine and my wife the other day while driving the truck. It was a little bit of a deep conversation, but it was kind of along these lines. And I know most people, listening to us and stuff, understands what quantum entanglement is. And, I believe that we do live in a multiverse where, there's how many ever other universes or other worlds like ours and other people in those worlds that are like us. And I do believe that our higher self can live multiple lives at a time. I don't think that it is required to only live one person or one body at a time. I think it can live multiple. And I think that quantum entanglement at some point in the future is going to prove some of this stuff, I think. And I think that each and every one of these versions of you in all these other universes are quantum entangled. And I think that this quantum entanglement is where sometimes you get your deja vu. This is sometimes where you get some of these things that happen to you, knowing of a place that you've never been to before. Well, you're quantum entangled, and in quantum entanglement, something that happens to one happens to all at the same time. And so and that's knowledge shared. That's everything. So, and I believe that this quantum entanglement between each version of you, your higher self is the only person or the only being that understands it fully, right? We're in these suits. We don't understand it. And I think that, like you said, we're here to learn, and until we learn and grow and are able to, I don't know whether it's ascend, I guess it depends on who you talk to, ascension or whatever else. But, I think that I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that thought?
Whew, that's a pretty deep one.
It's deep. It's deep. It really is. I told you I have 11 hours a day every 5-6 days a week, so I get to
really get to thinking.
I do, and then I get to read tons of books on all of this stuff and on quantum entanglement, on all of these different things, and so my brain gets to work in crazy
Jen,
ways.
She is a what do you call it? Somebody that talks to you.
Mm-hmm.
Not a psychologist, but I forget. I can't even think of the name of the word. You got me so messed up.
I'm sorry, Jason.
But she's one of those without the PhD, so I believe she'll be able to help you with that.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any, like I said, I pretty much am open to anything as far as, anything and everything is possible. Yeah. I definitely have never thought that we were the only ones here and this is the only planet that has life. I've never believed that short, narrow look at things anyway. So,
right.
When people are, I believe in aliens, I'm like, what is there to believe? They exist.
Yes.
Why do you have to believe?
Right.
You don't have to believe for them to exist. They're already there.
Yes.
And they're looking at us like we're idiots. We're like the cavemen still to them. With that said, there's multiverses. Yeah, for sure. So who knows what's going on between us and the others.
Right.
It's the same concept as, you going into a dream where you seem to know everybody, but you don't know them.
Yes.
Like, you know them, but you're looking at them and they look like strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make any sense. And you wake up going, what the heck was that about?
Right.
You know, or you feel like you, but you catch a glimpse of yourself and you're not you.
Yeah.
Just like
you're
the symbols you've been dreaming about, you know, that could be some kind of message. Some kind of...
Yeah, well, and yeah, I mean, with the whole Metatron thing, that's even when I'm like doing stuff on the internet, I come across something that, you know, the Metatron shape will pop up and I'm going, okay, apparently I'm supposed to be paying attention to this. So, you know, I'm going to, because I've learned not to ignore it, and there's a meaning to it. And I am just waiting for Metatron to, you know, let me know exactly what that is. And this is something I've had to learn patience with, because they don't often tell you right away.
Right. It's
one of those, you know, something's going to happen. It's going to be awesome, but that's all we can tell you about it. You have to just wait. And it's like, he's sitting here going, okay, when's that coming up?
I'm waiting.
It is. It's hard to maintain that patience, but you know, or when they tell you something's about to change in a big way, but don't worry, you'll know it when it's happening. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Thanks for the vote of confidence.
And thanks for the heads up on what now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're in the... Are you in the chat room on the website?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I am. Yep.
Right here.
Bird Dog posted a picture up there. He was wanting you to see what you thought about it, and he said it showed up in a picture that they took off at the church one morning, and they seem to think it might be some kind of demon or something. It looks...
I mean, I can see an eye, like... The first thing I was looking at was the background. It almost looks like a pool, like a Olympic pool, or, you know, a pool that would be like at a YMCA or something with the lines. And I was like, why is there a picture of a pool? But no, I see the face. Man.
If you shrink it down, because I've got it on my phone where he sent it to me, and you can see it a lot better. But I mean, it's definitely a face.
Well, I mean, I can definitely see an eye like perfectly.
Yeah,
I think it looks like an alien.
It almost looks. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I said it almost looks alien to me.
It looks more interdimensional than it does terrestrial.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like something from somewhere else, not from like native to here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But again, what the heck do I know?
You're speaking Jason's language. Jason loves interdimensional. That's his bag.
That's everything. Everything's interdimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in consequences whatsoever.
Right.
Or, I mean, in coincidence is like, there are no coincidences.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Everything happens for a reason at the perfect time, perfect place, even though you don't think that. It may not seem that way at the time, but it absolutely is. So, I mean, that's why I feel that way about trusting that the universe and your angels and your guides are all pointing you in the right direction. So you may be going through a hard time. It's for a reason.
Yeah.
There's always a lesson to be learned. Yeah, everything has rhyme and reason. Nothing is just...
I have to apologize to you. We've kept you over 2 hours.
Oh no!
Yeah. We was just looking at the time, and I was like, we have kept her longer than the 2 hours we promised her we were going to keep her.
Well, that means we had fun.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about.
Yes. And I still even have more questions. So that, you know what that means though? We'll just have to have her come back.
Yeah. I still want to hear about the investigation at Eastern State with Zach Bagans, because I watch him every
All the time.
night.
Yeah.
When I go to sleep,
Travel Channel's on.
that's
huh?
what it's on. I mean, he's really good in his first episodes, but later on, it's kind of hard to believe.
How far along in his investigations did you go and investigate with him?
Gosh.
I think.
I mean, I was friends with them before that. I was friends with them way back when they did the very first documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before it was even called Ghost Adventures. And I was talking to him on MySpace.
Wow. That's a
That's
long
how
time
long ago.
Wow.
Right. That's how
MySpace.
long ago. We used to send each other really long messages and stuff, and we were friends.
Right.
But gosh, I don't know how far along. Nick was still with them when I
Yeah.
went.
When I watched the videos here just recently, I think it was 11 years ago. And
Okay.
that's from your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
The only reason I say anything, and I know absolutely nothing, but his earlier videos are so raw and real, and I'm just like, this is awesome. But then later on, I get the feel that corporate somebody has taken over and says you've got to have something happen even if nothing happens.
Yeah.
I just feel it. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. It's just I get this feeling that sometimes there's things like almost every other episode he gets, possessed and stuff, and I'm just like,
I mean,
oh, come
with
on.
TV shows, it's with TV shows that it can end up being that way.
Yes,
The
that's what I
producers usually will want you to do more than what you
Yes.
want to do.
Yes.
Say
and
things that you may not want to say.
exactly.
They even control people as to if they can wear a hat. I mean, if you're used to wearing a hat, some producers don't want you to wear a hat.
Right.
I was just talking to Sam Baltrusis yesterday, and when he did that Lizzie Borden thing, they didn't want him to wear his glasses.
What? That's crazy.
And I was like, what? I said, if anything, we would, we would look better with glasses because then we look like we're intelligent. And he laughed and he said, well, that's what I thought too.
Distinguished or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I know from the Finding Bigfoot series, they said that their first season they battled that big time, and they were telling them, look, if nothing happens, and we ain't faking nothing. And it took them a couple seasons for them to get, the picture that they weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
So I know it exists in the industry, and just sometimes things happen, and I'm just like, we don't have to go there. Because I'm not feeling that it's real. You could feel
right.
when things happen and things are real, they're real. It comes through, and when they're not, you're like, you're trying too hard. but that's fantastic, though. I'd love to meet him, though. I know he's come down to Old South Pittsburgh. And
he's been everywhere.
Yeah, he has. And,
I still try to keep up with Nick Groff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's such a nice person. I know when I met them, I just thought he was just really cool, really down to earth. And Erin, of course, just as funny in person as he is on TV.
That's awesome.
He's a big old goofball. But that trip we had also, and I think it might have been one of the last times I saw Mark and Debbie Constantino, actually. What was that investigation?
Wow.
So that's, that's a memory. But I mean, I've been at events with them when they were doing lectures and I was doing lectures. You know, our tables would just be a few tables apart. And so that was, and you know, what's weird about that too is when they died 2 days after, you know, remember I told you the best friend that turned into a spirit guide?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He died 2 days before they did.
Wow.
So I lost 3 friends in 3 days.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. That was...
Wow.
I was like, I don't even understand what's going on here.
Sometimes I guess...
But he died of a random stroke, and he wasn't even 40 yet.
Oh, my Lord.
Mm.
And he had just got done with schooling to be a fitness instructor. And after he died, the paperwork came for his certification. And I was just like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. But I am blessed that he chose to be a spirit guide and is around me all the time. So I haven't really lost him.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I am able to provide his mom and another mutual friend of ours with comfort, you know, with them knowing that he is watching me and stuff, and he does visit them too. So, but not everybody is able to have that experience.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. That's, I don't know. I think sometimes things happen and in this life we're not meant to understand or know sometimes why.
No, that's the thing is we really should be admitting that we know nothing.
Right.
We're experiencing.
Yes. In the pursuit of knowledge, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
We're experiencing.
Yeah. I like that.
I think most of science is just a big guess.
All of life is a guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going.
Yeah.
That's why every day is WTF.
That's it. Exactly. I like that. I woke up this morning. No. So.
Well, if you want to give out your information again, and
yes.
Do you still do the website Jen the Mystic?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's my main site. That's the one where I have my shop set up for readings and things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you
so
want
that gives people that was wanting a reading a place to go.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to give out that information and all your information.
Yeah. Where they can get your book again.
Yeah.
And they can also go to our website. I posted it, you know, on the in the chat room earlier, but our website they could also find it too. So the link to your book, the links to, if I'm not mistaken, even your websites and all of that's on our site too. So
it's on our website and our Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody goes to my website, they can pretty much get a hold of me any way they want to. So they go to askjenthemystic.com. It connects to my Facebook. It connects to Instagram. And like I said, I have my shop there. I also have the link to where to buy my book and stuff like that as well.
Awesome.
So
is there a place where someone could get one autographed?
We collect books
and autographs.
and autographs.
We collect autographed books. Yes.
Well, I actually keep a few copies of my book here at home. So if you wanted to just purchase one from me directly,
Yes.
then yeah, I can autograph it.
Woohoo! So I'll contact you. I'll text you and contact you and work that out with you, and
Sure.
and get you to send one to David and Jason at Project Dark Corona.
Awesome.
And but yeah, we would definitely love that.
That would absolutely be a pleasure.
That's awesome.
All right. Hopefully we can get you to come back at a later date to talk some more.
Yeah, because I feel like we barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Barely.
It's a big surface.
Yeah. There's plenty to talk about, right?
That's it. Absolutely. Especially when we have someone, that, is into so much. So, you only can partially get any of one of the items and talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Maybe next time we come on, we'll actually focus on one or two and really do a show just about that.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jen.
Yep.
Well, thank you for having me on.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yes, it was our pleasure, and thanks for working it out after our debacle the first time around.
I don't know what the heck happened there. I had a time set in my brain, and for some reason, I don't know why I was going with that time. I don't have to be on till 8. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. The good thing is like, so we used to have, it was terrible. We finally worked through it, but we had like 8 or 9 months booked out every single Saturday for 8 or 9 months. And when something would happen, like my truck or my 18-wheeler broke down this week, and it was if I was supposed to be home yesterday, and I was like, please let us get home in time. But when crazy things happen, we really didn't have the ability to get someone to come straight back on. It was like months down the line. And so we're going to start keeping this timeline within a month or so. So then that way, if things do happen, life or whatever happens, then at least we can, try to reschedule pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, it worked out.
It did. And we thank you, Jen, for coming on, and we had a great show, and you have a good night.
You too, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Everybody, that was Jen Jons, and that was a fantastic interview.
Oh, yeah.
She knows a lot about a lot.
Yes, she does.
And we didn't even get to talk about a lot.
We got to talk about dimensions a little bit.
Yeah, we got to delve into your speciality there, didn't we? You like that.
Yeah.
I knew you did. I knew when she started talking about it, Jason's eyes went, ooh, we're going to go into dimensions. That's fantastic.
Remember this Friday.
We got 2 shows next week.
Yes. This Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to do some spooky stuff.
Wow.
We're going to be live at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital from 4 p.m. till 7.
3-hour show.
Eastern Time. So we hope you can join us.
It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see some ghosts.
Yes.
Something.
And then Saturday, we've got our regular show at 8 p.m. It's a 2-hour show, 8 to 10. And Tennessee Macabre is going to be on. And that's going to be another good show. These guys put on, older horror movies. And it's in the Chattanooga area. And so it's going to be kind of fun. And talking with him, he was actually born at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that's kind of cool. After being at Old South Pittsburgh, we might get to talk a little bit about Old South Pittsburgh with you. And then, so next week is a trifecta. How often can we say that?
Trifecta.
Yes. So we have Friday show, 3-hour show at Old South Pittsburgh. Saturday, we've got our normal 2-hour show, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Tennessee Macabre. So that takes care of Friday and Saturday. Sunday, are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Sunday, 9 p.m.
Is that
when
Eastern?
9 p.m. Eastern time. Yep. That's when they'll be on YouTube, paranormalityradio.com, and they will start giving out some awards for all the different categories. So please watch and cheer everybody on. I mean, everybody that are getting these awards definitely deserve each and every award that they get. And remember that each and every one of these are podcasts out of tens of thousands of podcasts. And these men and women work hard on everything that they do. And so definitely give them a listen. And, take some time and watch the podcast awards.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun. If I'm on the truck, I'm still going to be listening. So it's going to be awesome. And
Yes.
We definitely want to thank everybody that voted for us. And now you get to listen to see how well your votes worked. Right?
May I have the envelope, please?
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm so excited. It's great. But I want to say thanks to everybody. And y'all have a good night. Are you ready, Jason?
Yep. Good night.
We are going out. And remember, pay attention to...
I got to work on my acceptance speech.
Yes, we do. All right.
I'd like to thank my mother and my father for bringing me into this world. Most of all, I'd like to thank my producer, Quincy Jones.
That's funny. I like it. All right, everybody. We will be doing shows throughout the week, some of our short shows, so stay tuned. Have a good night.
You're listening to Project Corona.
You're listening to Project Dark Corona Podcast, brought to you by Project Dark Corona. Coming to you live from an undisclosed location, deep in a bunker in the Appalachian Mountains, bringing you the strange and unknown with your host, David Reagan and Jason Scott. You're listening to Project Dark Corona Podcast.